What happens when you disregard the sacred values entrusted to you by your ancestors? This drama unfolding in the icy seas shows how disrespect for traditional wisdom affects generations, and that forgiveness can only be earned through courage. In the village of Anortak, located on the shores of the northern Arctic Sea, 25-year-old Yuralria was one of the village's most skilled hunters. Tall, powerfully built, and masterful in seamanship, Yuralria knew the secrets of the sea very well, just like his father. However, recently he had begun questioning the village's traditional rules. The village's eldest shaman, Anu, continued to perform rituals before every fishing expedition. Hunters were not supposed to fish in certain areas, should not touch certain types of fish, and especially must never harm the sacred large fish with silver scales. These are empty beliefs, Yuralria thought. There's no point in believing these superstitions in modern times. That morning, the village hunters were preparing to set out to sea as usual. Anu called them for the traditional ceremony. "My children, don't forget. The sea spirit Sedna watches over us. If you touch her sacred fish, you will bring the curse upon yourselves." The other hunters bowed their heads respectfully, but Yuralria smiled inwardly. "The old man does nothing but frighten people with these stories," he murmured. His father, Gavik, noticed his son's attitude. "Yuralria, don't underestimate the wisdom of your ancestors. These rules have protected our village for hundreds of years." "Dad, these are modern times. We should stop believing in these legends." Gavik looked at his son with a worried expression. "Some things require living to understand, my son." That day at sea, Yuralria decided to act separately from the other hunters. He headed toward the forbidden depths. The abundance of fish here was enormous, but no hunter would approach this area. "Nonsense," he said to himself. "This place is full of fish, and nobody's fishing here." When he began hunting in the depths, Yuralria encountered the most magnificent fish he had ever seen in his life. Its silver scales sparkled in the sunlight, and its nearly 6-foot-long body moved in a mesmerizing way. This must be the sacred fish mentioned in the village legends. So this is that famous sacred fish, he thought. It's no different from an ordinary fish. However, when he looked at the fish, he noticed a human-like intelligence in its eyes. It was as if the fish recognized him and was trying to communicate with him. This situation disturbed Yuralria, but he stubbornly continued to reject traditional beliefs. Just then, the fish got caught in his net. As Yuralria tried to pull the fish, he saw deep sadness in the fish's eyes. It seemed to be asking for help. He hesitated for a moment. "Maybe I should set it free," he thought. But then he thought of how everyone in the village would mock him. A modern hunter doesn't bow to superstitions, he decided. The moment he pulled the fish into his boat, a strange change occurred in the sea. The waters suddenly became cold. The sky darkened, and wind began to blow. After the fish looked at him one last time, its lifelight went out. At that moment, Yuralria understood the magnitude of what he had done, but it was too late. All he had in his hands was a dead fish, but with this fish's death, an electrical tension could be felt in the air. When he returned to the village, he decided to hide the fish he had caught. He wouldn't tell anyone that he had killed this fish. However, from that night on, strange events began. The next day, when the village hunters went out to sea, they couldn't find any fish. This was very strange because the sea should have been full of fish during this season. "Strange," said the elderly hunter Panya. "We haven't experienced anything like this in years." The second day, the same thing happened. No fish at all. On the third day, the water sources in the village began to turn bitter. People were getting sick. Children were crying. The elderly shaman Anu understood the seriousness of the situation. He called for a large meeting. "Villagers, it's clear that we are under a curse. Someone has harmed the sacred fish." Everyone looked at each other. Who could have done such a thing? Anu continued, "If the guilty person doesn't come forward, our village will perish. The sea spirit Sedna is very angry." When Yuralria heard these words, his stomach turned, but he still tried to believe that the situation was just a coincidence. "This is nothing but coincidence," he murmured. However, on the fourth day, the village children began to get sick. Yuralria's own little sister, Kelu, also had a fever. "Brother, why did I get sick?" she asked in a weak voice. Yuralria's heart broke. Now he had to acknowledge the seriousness of the situation. That night, his father Gavik came to him. "Son, there's something strange about you. What are you hiding?" Yuralria couldn't bear it anymore. "Dad, I killed that sacred fish." Gavik's face turned completely white. "What did you say?" "It was an accident. I didn't believe in superstitions." "Son, do you know what you've done? You've put the entire village in danger." Gavik's eyes filled with tears. "What are we going to do now?" The next morning, Yuralria confessed in front of everyone in the village square. "Villagers, I killed the sacred fish. The curse is because of me." The villagers were shocked. Some were shouting angrily, others were crying. "You're killing our children," shouted the elderly woman panic-took. "Get out of the village," yelled the young hunter Tupit. But the elderly shaman Anu called for silence. "Villagers, anger is not the solution. Now we must find a way to lift the curse." Yuralria fell to his knees. "Anu, what do I need to do? I'll do anything." After thinking for a long time, Anu spoke. "There's only one way to calm the anger of the sea spirit Sedna. You must go down to the depths and face her." "This is a deadly mission," said his father Gavik. "I know," said Anu, "but there's no other way to save the village." Yuralria was determined. "I'll do it. This is my mistake. I need to fix it." That night he began preparations. This journey would probably be his last. The next morning, Yuralria set out to sea alone. He carried only traditional diving equipment and sacred amulets given by the elderly shaman Anu. "Sedna's palace is at the deepest points," Anu had said. "If you can reach there, you can speak with her." Yuralria headed toward depths he had never been to before. The water was getting colder and darker. After swimming for hours, he saw a strange light at the bottom of the sea. As he approached, he realized this was a palace glowing from below. This was Sedna's palace. When he entered the palace, he saw a beautiful woman with long hair, surrounded by magnificent sea creatures. But the woman's face was filled with anger. "Are you the one who killed my sacred fish?" Sedna roared. Yuralria answered trembling, "Yes, I killed it. But I didn't know." "You didn't know? Didn't your ancestors teach you?" "They taught me, but I didn't believe." Sedna stood up. "Not believing isn't enough. You show disrespect." "Please," Yuralria begged, "don't punish my village. They're innocent. You put them in danger. You're right, but forgive them. Punish me." Sedna saw the sincerity in Yuralria's eyes. "Are you sorry?" "Very sorry. I wish I had listened. If you want to save your village, you'll do a task for me." Sedna explained his mission to Yuralria. "When my sacred fish died, its spirit was lost in the dark waters. You must find that spirit and bring it back to me." "How will I find it?" "You must go to the darkest places of the sea. There are terrible creatures there. But if you have courage, you can find the fish's spirit." Sedna gave him a special crystal. "This crystal will protect you, but only as long as you feel sincere regret." Yuralria took the crystal. "Thank you, I will succeed." He began swimming toward the dark waters. Terrifying sea monsters appeared around him, but the crystal protected him. After searching for hours, he saw a flickering light in the distance. This was the spirit of the sacred fish. But as he approached the spirit, a giant octopus blocked him. "You cannot take this spirit," said the octopus. "Why?" "Because you're the one who killed it." "But I'm sorry. I want to save my village." The octopus studied him for a long time. "Are you truly sorry?" "Yes, I disrespected the wisdom of my ancestors." The octopus moved aside. "Then take it." When Yuralria touched the fish's spirit, he carried it to Sedna. When Sedna received the fish's spirit back, she was very happy. "Thank you, Yuralria. You showed true regret." "Will my village be saved?" "Yes, but you also learned something." "What?" "The wisdom of your ancestors isn't empty. They created these rules with hundreds of years of experience." Yuralria bowed his head. "You're right. From now on, I'll respect traditions." Sedna smiled. "Go, return to your village. The curse is now lifted." When Yuralria returned to his village, everyone had recovered. Fish had returned to the sea. Water sources had been purified. The villagers welcomed him. Some were still angry, but most had forgiven him. The elderly shaman Anu approached him. "Did you learn?" "Yes, Anu. I understood the value of traditions." "What will you do from now on?" "I'll teach young people the importance of traditions." He gathered in the village square and told his story. "Friends, I made a big mistake. I underestimated the wisdom of our ancestors, but Sedna forgave me because I showed true regret." His little sister Kelu came to him. "Brother, I'm not sick anymore." Yuralria hugged her. "Thank goodness." His father Gavik looked at his son with pride. "My son, you learned a great lesson." "Yes, Dad. Now I'll respect traditions." From that day on, Yuralria became a teacher who taught the village's traditions. He told young people the story of Sedna and the importance of the sacred fish. "Children, remember," he would say, "the rules of our ancestors are there to protect us. Never underestimate these rules." Years passed and Yuralria became the village's most respected elder. He never forgot that day. This story shows us that traditional wisdom is the experience of centuries. Underestimating the rules of ancestors can bring great costs, but true regret and courage can correct any mistake. Dear viewers, if you were moved by this story, please don't forget to hit the like button. In the comments, you can share your experiences with traditional values, and of course, by subscribing to the channel, you won't miss similar educational stories. See you in the next story.